What does an award-winning case study in Notes look like? Stay tuned. Welcome to this week's edition of Note School TV. Well, where every week we bring you the most amazing guest, will not disappoint today, and the most amazing content. And our guest today, well, as you can kind of figured from the tagline, she is a case study winner from our NoteExpo that we just got home from. So anyway, do me a favor here. Number one, make sure and like this episode. Yep, just hit that like button. Make sure and subscribe if you have not already done so. And then, number three is make sure and hit that bell notification, boom, so you'll know when we go live every Wednesday, when at 11:05 Central Time. Also, continue to type in your comments, guys. Eddie and I really love reading your comments, seeing what's going on in your world. So stay in touch there. Also, share these episodes with your friends, guys. This is it's some really, really good information, and we've got an amazing guest who has an amazing case study that we're going to talk about as well. So with that, and by the way, if you want to learn more about Note School, we'll talk about this a little more at the end of the show. Just go to noteschool.com/TV. Again, noteschool.com/TV. With that, let's bring on our Chief Visionary Officer, founder of Note School, just all-around great guy, my friend, Mr. Eddie Speed.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. It is a wonderful day. Sun's out, shining, and man, did we have an amazing event that ended Saturday afternoon.
You know, Joe, this was our 12th Note Expo. So we've done it for 12 years. We've never had a bad one.
Nope.
We've never had anything but really positive stuff. When people left there, we've worked really hard. Our team does a crazy good job of putting on the show, and great guests and all that stuff. But let me say, there just was something special about it. And let me just tell you something. We're going to be offering this, in a little while. We'll have an offer for people to be able to buy the videos of it. And I'm going to guarantee you that you're going to want to buy that. If you missed it live, everything was just over the top. We had a unbelievably good keynote speaker, Mr. Damon West.
Oh my God.
Powerful story.
Couldn't take your eyes off that.
I'm telling you, that is the most powerful story I've ever heard in my life. I've never heard it powerful. It's just crazy. If you haven't investigated him, Damon West.
Yep.
And anyway, he was our keynote. And if you see if you get the buy the online version of NoteExpo that we'll offer, it will be, you will agree, that is just honestly the best keynote you've ever seen. I literally probably had 200 people tell me that, Joe.
Absolutely. People in the elevator, people in the lobby, people as I was going to get into an Uber to go to yes. It's amazing.
Anyway,
that's worth the price of admission right there.
That is going to be worth the price of admission. All right, Joe, we got some news today.
We do. So fresh from Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs says expects home prices, mortgage rate, they're come in higher than originally forecast. And originally, Eddie, Goldman had forecast rate or price growth to go down about 1.3% for the year, but they've moved that, and it is going to be up 1.7% this year as far as an increase. So, yep. And this kind of shows all
either way. Basically, that says home prices are about flat.
Yeah,
right?
It does. Yeah.
And so it's not really a growth. I mean, it's not a negative, but it's about
With
flat.
inflation, 1.7% increase is really flat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at this one. So this is the supply of homes listed for sale. Moved up a little in November. That's kind of doesn't really look like it did, but there's certainly less than 1 million housing supply at this point. Yep.
And remember, we talked about it. You know, home builders have a lot more of a supply than MLS does.
Yes.
As far as not more houses, but more days on the market, more inventory out there. So you look at that, we're not going to see a big insurgence in MLS listings.
No, we're not. Yeah. And they've got about, what was it, 7.8 months supply, the home builders, which does not really show up on MLS, right, Eddie?
That's it. No, it doesn't.
That's it. Very good. And then finally, 30-year fixed rate mortgages. I mean, here we are, right? And this is from 2000, of course, over here. And then we go across and, well, there we are. And again,
highest mortgage rates in 23 years. Look, high rates and banks cleaning up their balance sheets are what essentially drives the note business the most.
That's exactly.
Banks are not lending money against notes the way they were. They're selling notes themselves. They're selling performing notes and non-performing notes, trying to clean up their balance sheet. So the market direction that we keep talking about, we're just saying the data supports what the direction we're saying it's going.
Exactly. And of course, the source on that is Freddie Mac through Yahoo Finance. So yeah, absolutely. So it is about where we think it should be. And certainly this is our market. Eddie, that was pretty much the theme while we were at NoteExpo. This is our time, and the energy level, the attention level, all of it was just off the charts.
People showed up at NoteExpo wanting to get clear about it. People left there with extreme clarity because everybody that spoke that was in a position of had data or knowledge or information, and people just literally, they just like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So it's a fun time to be in the business, right?
It is a good feeling. We are going to bust 2024. Eddie, we're going to bust that wide open, man.
That's going to be 100% fact right there, Joe.
Why don't we bring on our guest, Eddie?
Let's do it. Our guest today is a lady that I so respect, and a lady that you're going to get to see her case study and hear her story today. And I'm pretty certain, Joe, when they hear that, they are also going to respect and think this lady's really got her stuff together. Miss Sophia Jones. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sophia.
Good morning.
It is.
Sophia, you were a rock star at NoteExpo.
She was all over the place, Eddie.
And by the way, guys, she's very humble. So to understand, she's never going to gloat. No, wasn't it? But no, you really were. And we got to spend some time with you. We're going to actually go over your case study here in a little bit. I wanted to talk to you a little bit to give these guys a little bit before we start, just a little bit of framework of like kind of where you were and you got started. So first of all, I want to say congratulations. We are so happy that you're in our Note School family. You are such a contributor and a go-giver, and just have been that way from the very get-go. Tell us a little bit about kind of what your background is.
I started, I'm currently working as a realtor and investing in notes. Yep. I started in the real estate industry back in 2002 as a note broker. And I did that for a while, for a few years until around 2009, 2010, when the housing crash happened. Mm-hmm. I kind of shifted and transitioned into short sales. I was a short sale negotiator for several agents and investors all over the country. I did short sales everywhere.
Awesome.
So I did that for a number of years. Did some wholesaling for a while, and I got my license in 2016. Started doing traditional realtor type things.
Awesome.
And then with Note School, joined Note School about maybe almost 2 years ago now, and started investing for my own portfolio at that time.
You know, Sophia, as you know, there's a lot of realtors in Note School. It makes a very good hand in glove. You know, we like to say, Note School wants to help people with an investing strategy. They don't have to go build a whole business, right? They don't, you can do it as a very part-time investment strategy versus saying, quote, I'm building a business. Yeah. And so I think that's why a lot of your realtor pals, the more and more you're at these events, you're like, oh my gosh, man, Note School's full of people that are realtors. And the answer is, 9-to-5ers, realtors, anybody really, Sophia, that was probably buying rental houses 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And now because of the math and all those rates and all that stuff that you know very well, you know, it's a good trend. So, you know, I wanted to ask you, like, I want to kind of go back down memory lane for a moment.
Okay.
So when you joined Note School, you know, everybody joins like a program. They're looking for not so much of this and more of this, right? And really it's based on their challenges. And so I want to talk about that. What were you looking for when you joined us?
Education. I needed to, although I have been in the industry for a number of years, I didn't have a grasp on all the different aspects of notes. I didn't understand non-performing. I didn't understand partials. I didn't understand all the different ways that you could, you know, invest in notes. So I really needed some guidance and education on that.
Well, I'm going to say you're a good student because you sure have learned. Right? If we provided the education, you're a good. You absorbed it, and very impressive what you've done. This is not, Joe, her first time to be on stage.
It is not
with a case study competition. This is her second.
It is, and this is her second as being a case. He's her second NoteExpo, right, Sophia?
Second NoteExpo,
and second case study winner as well. Last year and this year in the non-performing loan category.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. So, you know, Sophia, you know, when we do these interviews, we like to get a sense of, you know, getting a little bit of some bullets or some details. And so when you joined Note School, you were kind of focused at first on the non-performing side, right?
Yes. I saw how the industry was shifting, and I saw that movie before. So I knew that I needed some education to know how to capitalize on it, because when it happened before, I didn't know what to do.
Sophia, I can tell you've been around Eddie, because saw that movie before would do an
Yep.
But you're also seeing a good scenario for partials, right?
Yes. I am. I'm starting to see a good scenario for partials, but yeah, I was totally focused on, and that's what Note School has given me. It's opened my eyes to other opportunities in other ways. Yeah.
See the whole dimension on that.
Yep.
Let's look at some slides, Eddie.
Let's do it. Let's look at your case study. So there, first of all, so we called it the Lady Boss, right? And this was our Lady Boss panel. And Sophia, you're standing in the middle is my wife, Martha.
Yep, right.
And you're standing next to her. And then, so that panel was drop the mic good. I mean, all of you ladies and your stories and your clarity and your vision of what you desire for your families and your financial future was just, I just tell you that it was a very captivating panel. Sometimes panels aren't so captivating. Right. That was really, really good.
Yeah.
Right.
And, so you got Miss Martha there in the middle, Sophia next to her, Ann Morton, who is a realtor also,
Yep.
Vanessa Legata, and
Mhm.
then by Martha. And then on the end there, Jean Petrell from Greenville, South Carolina.
Yep. Very impressive ladies. And Sophia, your impact there was great. Next slide. So, Sophia, we have a case study competition. We've done it every year at Note School, and this is where we take a top 3 case study submissions, and the team kind of selects from there. They select 3 finalists, and then the students vote on the winner. And you won.
I won.
You did.
Yep.
Did.
And we're going to talk about that winning case study today, and kind of some really things. The thing that I've always appreciated about you, Sophia, is you lead with a person of being a problem solver, right? And I always really respect that. And so tell us about this deal. This was the house securing this note, right?
Correct. Yes.
Down in Florida. Now you don't live in Florida, correct?
No, I do not.
So one of the things that we talked about is that you love the fact you can just invest where good deals are and you don't have to be near them, right?
Exactly. Never need to go to the house, go to the property.
So
and
pretty
Sophia,
nice
this is
house.
your third. Is this your second Florida non-performing loan, right?
No, it's the first one in Florida.
Okay.
First one in Florida. No.
Kentucky was your winner last year.
Kentucky was the one last year. Yep.
All right. So this house is worth $265. The loan. Now here's something I want people to notice, Sophia. This deal, their unpaid balance was $96,000, but their legal balance was $145,000.
Correct.
That was a lot of accrual that added to the balance.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Why is that?
They hadn't paid in 10 years.
10 years.
Hadn't made a payment in 10 years. Yes.
Wow.
So that's kind of crazy, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, that's all right. So tell us what you did. You did your due diligence. In fact, in our coaching program, you brought the deal on there, and we kind of looked at it and talked about some risk management things that you needed to investigate.
Yes.
And so we got past all that. You got the asset bought. Then what did you do?
I had the servicer to contact the borrowers and send out I think we sent out a demand letter to the borrowers. Mm-hmm. And we got a call. I was surprised because they hadn't paid for 10 years, but I was and I wasn't. I was because they hadn't paid in so long, but looking at the condition of the property, I figured someone was there that wanted to be there.
There was definitely roses in the flower bed, right?
There was definitely roses in the flower bed, correct.
So so that's really cool. And so they called you and they said they wanted a modification, right?
Yes, they said they
and what were they willing to pay you to come to bring the loan current, so to speak?
They originally said they wanted to pay $3,000. And
$3,000 hadn't paid in 10 years. $3,000 fee, and we're gonna call it good.
Right.
What did you say you wanted?
I originally came back at no, 3,000 not going to work. I want 35,000. 35,000.
You finally agreed on 25.
We finally agreed on 25, and they put 25,000 down. We put them on a 12-month trial mod, which we are about halfway through.
Now, what does that mean? Explain a trial mod.
Trial mod is we do a modification. We modify the loan as if we were going to do the entire thing, but they have to perform for 12 months to prove that they're able and willing to make the payments before it becomes permanent.
So what that means is if you go through a foreclosure process, you don't lose your place in line of where you were at in foreclosure.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So the trial mod means that you don't have to start all the way over again.
Correct.
Now, something else crazy happened on this. They made 3 payments to you, and then all of a sudden, what happens?
They made the 4th payment. They made a $27,116 payment.
Well, they hadn't paid in 10 years. They should have saved up a lot of money, right?
Yeah, go figure.
So they paid $25 up front, then they paid 3 payments of $800 a month. Then you get boom, $27,116.
Yes.
Wow. So now within 4 months they have over $50,000 that they've given you.
Correct.
What'd you pay for this note?
76.
Huh.
76,000.
And here's your modified note.
Yes.
So you modified the loan. Now this was before they paid the second 27,000, right?
Yes, we did the modification. We actually did the modification before they made any payment. We gave them these terms and told them this is what the terms would be.
So after they gave you 25,
yes,
then here's what their remaining debt was.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So they owed you 120. 8 payments are basically $800 a month, and then you got this kind of Christmas present surprise of it. Instead of paying you $800, they paid you $27,000 on the 4th month.
Yes,
and you're doing good there. And yeah,
yep.
So now this is now you went from a non-performing note to a performing note, and you've changed the game.
Yes. Flip the script on this one.
So actually talk about, so you did some things you borrowed some money against the note. And so this was kind of your all-in cost with your everything that you had in it with the loan, the note cost and all that, right, Sophia?
Correct.
Yeah. So you borrowed money when you borrowed money to buy this non-performing note, and you've added in all of the interest you're having to pay for that as well.
Correct. Correct. So that $94,000 would be my all-in cost.
So now you've gotten 50 almost 57,000
right
back. You're owed another 283, and this deal is going to make you almost of $250,000.
Yeah.
On one deal.
On one deal. Yep, this was great.
We can't understand how you could have won a case study competition with such a deal like this.
Yeah.
You are this is very impressive. As I said, I think a lot of times it resonates with people because this is an investing strategy with you. It's not like you do this all day, every day. You have a sideline business, but it's really a business where you've done some things, but it wasn't like this wasn't some crazy time suck, was it?
No, not at all.
What was start to finish on this, Sophia? What was it?
10 hours, maybe. I don't know, maybe 10 hours at the most, and it may not have been that much.
So it took you 10 hours to take care of a note that the borrowers hadn't paid on in 10 years.
Correct.
You know what? You remember what I said when you were on stage, Sophia? Sometimes you buy a note and the borrower dies, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it happens, right? I mean, because we buy reverse mortgages too, and that's a big thing, is that they're in fault because the mom and dad died, right?
Right.
This case, they thought the lender died.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
But people say this can't happen. And of course, we've been around the stories a lot for a really long time. And, so it's not like we've never heard a story like this before. But the truth of the matter is, when you hear it, you're thinking somebody had a non-performing note and didn't do a good job of servicing the loan.
Correct.
Because you literally just sent a notice of default and says, hey, it's time to ante up here, or foreclosure's coming.
Right.
And you knew that it was so equitable, you would never actually physically get the house, right?
Yes.
Because they owed less than $150,000.
Yeah, it's totally expected for it just to go to foreclosure and sell at the auction.
Yeah, I mean that would have been this is called an equitable foreclosure, right?
Yes.
Because the loan balance is $150 compared to a $280,000 house, so you just figure, well, But here's the thing about it: if you'd have asked me that I think they were going to come in there and write a check for more than $50,000,
right?
I would have said, no, that's not possible.
Right.
You just don't see that very often.
Yeah.
Right.
It would have been very profitable if you'd have done it the other way, but this turned out to be great. And the cool news is you got a performing note, and you, of course, can sell a partial. Mm-hmm. You got all of these things you can go do with it. And,
and I was able to help a family stay in their home.
There you go.
And that's a great thing, right?
Yep.
We may not can help everybody, but we can certainly help one family at a time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's pretty cool.
Yep. I love it.
All right, Sophia, that's awesome. Joe, is that your slides on that? That's great.
Yep, that's it. Yep, I'm going to pull those down. And
Sophia, what I want to ask you was, like, what were your big aha moments at NoteExpo?
I think the big aha moments was I am really going to focus on private lenders now. I think I got a big aha on being able to get private lenders to invest with me. So in the partial avenue. So that was my big aha that I got from the Expo.
Good.
Well, you've got a track record now, and you've got assets to show, and you've got
private investors aren't what they would have been investing in is not working now.
Right.
Like, we're not saying there's no real estate syndications, but we are saying that the loan production in syndications is down about 70%. So clearly people that would have been doing multifamily syndications or storage units, that number's gotten pushed way back, right?
Right.
People that were buying rentals pushed way back. In other words, we kind of know that it's highly unlikely the Burr math is going to work, right?
Right.
Okay, well then now all of a sudden, what are those people going to invest in if they couldn't invest in the things that they were investing in? They've got to find another alternative. If rental properties and syndications are alternative investments compared to stocks and bonds, now they've got to switch to another alternative.
Right.
And I think that's exactly the lane you're in. And remember, you're a realtor. You got client, people are, anybody ever say, Sophia, if you ever need any help, let me get in the middle of one of your deals.
You ever find a good deal? Let me know.
Right. Yes.
And so I think that's I think you're totally clear and correct in saying that. Yeah. And, so we just really, I'm glad you saw that. I made a big emphasis of that because I wanted you guys, my job is I spend a lot of time on top of the mountain with the binoculars looking across the horizon at where we're going. Right.
Right.
And I'm seeing it very clearly. And so I'm glad you said that. And I'm glad you caught that from other speakers and investors. Did you see Damon West, by the way?
Yes. Oh my God. He was awesome. Awesome.
That is the best. Literally, it's the best keynote I've ever seen.
Yeah, me too. That was wonderful. I was so impressed that while we were sitting there, when he finished his presentation, I immediately went on Amazon and bought both of my kids, his book.
Yeah, that is so good. He's super quick story here. He was a college football player, sports star, and long story short, he had blew his knee out, and he couldn't play football. And anyway, he finished school, and he was working at a stock brokerage at all places. And some guy at the stock brokerage introduced him to crystal meth.
Right.
And he said one time and he was hooked.
Yeah.
Boy,
Wow.
a kid ought to hear that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like, how do you want to ruin your life? Go try crystal meth one time. Like, and so crazy as it sounds. So he ended up, long story short, he got sent to prison for this, right? And he started going to prison.
For life.
Yeah, a life.
Yeah.
Life. So this guy that had been in and out of prison, basically, he's just said, what in the world do I do and how do I survive and stuff? And the guy says, really? He says, prison is a pot of boiling water. And he said, you can either be three things. You can be a carrot. You can be an egg from soft center to hard, right? Inside. Or he said, or you can be a coffee bean. He said, a coffee bean is the only thing that will change your environment, your water.
Yep.
Anyway, great story, tremendous presentation. Couldn't say enough about it, and really just had a great time. So, listen, I know my wife particularly enjoyed being with you and the panel and some preparation of that. Every time I looked up, I thought Elvis was in the building, Sophia, because people were surrounding you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great networking opportunity.
Yeah.
It was just great. I like that's one of the things I really enjoy about Note School, Eddie. You put on some top-notch events and top-notch training, and I really appreciate it. It's very good. It has really helped me to propel my business to the next level.
Well, it's not so hard to work on that stuff when you love it. And I'm blessed that I love what I do. I just am blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so blessed to know about a business that when we teach people the business, then they love it.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm just a vessel, right? I didn't invent the note business, but we're blessed to get to do it. We're blessed to get to know people like you. And, and as we said, people come to Note School. Some people are like, can I really do this part-time? Well, I'm telling you, this is a pretty good case study right here to show you can, right?
Right.
That was one of the things we used to say all the time, Eddie, full-time living on a very part-time basis. We don't say that much anymore, but we used to.
I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't take many deals like that to start realizing that you can make a full-time living on a part-time basis, right?
Right.
Sophia, great to have you.
How are they going to get this? How are they going to get this? The recordings of NoteExpo.
We're going to send that. They need to make sure that they're on our mailing list.
Okay.
So they need to make sure that they're on our mailing list so that we'll be able to that they'll see that offer coming.
Right.
Yeah. They can go to noteschool.com and they can easily get to it.
Yep.
And if you guys are interested in a master class, then that's basically how Sophia got started, and most everybody does. About 2 hours. It's super informative. Then you can go to noteschool.com/TV. Right. And there will be a way to register for the master class on there. Sophia, we are so honored to have you. Great to physically get to hug your neck and get to see you there. And you keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank
you. Being you. Exactly right. Thank you so much, Sophia.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, I'm going to let you close us out, my friend.
All righty. Sounds good. Guys, thanks so much for being with us again this week. Folks like Sophia are an inspiration to myself, to Eddie, everybody in the Note School ecosystem, Note School family, and certainly they should be an inspiration to you as well. So again, as Eddie said, if you'd like to know more about what we do at Note School or to attend one of our master classes, Eddie does that along with Mr. Max Keller, who is our Chief Market Officer. And that's a 2-hour class, and we're going to give you an offer you can't refuse. It's going to be Eddie's treat for you to attend that. Simply go to noteschool.com/TV, noteschool.com/TV, and we will see you same time, same place next Wednesday, 11:05 Central Time. Have a good week.